Good morning, everyone. I'm not turning on the face cam because, quite frankly, I don't have a lot of good light in this room, and it's morning, so I look terrible. So I'm just going to get started with this thing rather than going through a whole rigmarole right at the start. So what we're going to be doing is 10-minute Unity practice every morning. I'm going to just do this probably 8 a.m. every morning for until I can't stand it anymore, or until I love it. So we're going to start by creating a new project. I'm going to put this project into a new folder I set up. We're going to be putting this project on GitHub as well. And so it's going to go inside this folder here. If I specify this folder, it probably won't let me use it. I'm going to see if I can do a quick drag in here. I don't think I can. Oh, I can. That's very cool. Yeah, it won't let me create the project because this folder already exists. So what we have to actually do is just very temporarily remove this folder. Delete. Just get rid of it. And then we're going to do slash mornings with Unity. And it doesn't believe me that that's ready now. Or maybe I put it in the wrong place. Mornings with Unity. There. Sometimes it can be picky about that. I wish I'd had more time to get this up. So we're at the, well, we're not at the default view. I don't know what we're at right now. Are we at the default view? No. No, what's the default look like? Oh, we were at the default view. Okay, so I'm switching to my usual view, which is max default. I've shown on the show how to get to this, but basically you just drag windows around until things are organized. I've got the console over here, inspector, standard thing. Um, and I don't have a huge plan about what we're going to be doing today, so we're just kind of going to free form it a little bit. I want to create a cube, and we're just going to play around with our cube here. So I'm going to create a light so that things look a little bit better. And let's create a C# script. And what we're going to make this do is, I'm going to call this snake. And I just want to do something each morning. Sometimes it'll be fun. Sometimes it'll be stuff that we've already done before, but it'll just be a 10-minute thing. This time, we're just going to have some fun. So public game object snake bit is what I'm going to call it. And so we've got a snake bit, which is what our snakes are made out of, and uh, public float time between uh, spawn time is what we'll call it. Spawn time. And what are we going to do with this? So what I want to do is just basically start out with a block and then have it move and have more blocks show up behind it, kind of like the classic Snake game. So what we're going to do is just going to move randomly for right now. So, well, I mean, right now it's not going to do anything because we haven't typed anything yet, but it will. So in the start, I'm going to invoke um, move snake is what I'm going to call it, and we will put spawn time. Remember, it's morning, so my variable names may not be as good as they usually are, and not that they're always that great. Void move snake. And we're going to do the same thing here. The reason I don't use invoke repeating is this means we can use the slider in game and it will actually affect the spawn time each time that you change it, as opposed to if you do invoke repeating, once you start the application, you can't tweak anything after that because you've already set it and start to repeat. So it's nicer to have it just self re-invoke after it's done. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the cube forward, and we're going to move it really chunky forward. We're going to do transform.position plus equals transform.forward. That's going to be the whole thing. This is just going to move it forward one whole unit into the scene. So let's just try this first to make sure that this part's working. So I'm going to hit play, And we should see, oh, this is probably going to go badly. Oh, it didn't. It wasn't even attached anyway, so it doesn't matter. I should have a good default for spawn time. So let's put spawn time at 0.5 f. So now we're going to attach this to the cube, and we're going to hit play, and we should see this thing chunk off into the distance a cube length at a time. There we go. Cool. If we want to see that from the top, let's just go mode. Look at it from the top and just align our camera with it. We're going to click the main camera and we're going to choose align with view. And so now if we hit play, we should see this thing chunk off. Yay, cool. So now let's make it so that it can move in, so that it spawns things behind it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to call this cube the head. And then I'm going to duplicate this cube, remove the snake script from it. We're going to call this snake body, snake bit is what I'm going to call it. And I'm going to call this a snake head. We're going to have to get more specific because I'm going to be jumbling all of the projects that we make on this show together, so that we can reuse code and try new things and just build blocks sometimes. So we want to make an instance of snakebit. I'm going to go ahead and make an instance of snakehead as well. It doesn't really matter. And we are going to, so this just saves them as prefabs. Creating an instance is not the right terminology to use, but it's morning. So transform.forward, snakehead, we've got moving forward. We want it to make some snake bits behind it. So I'm going to delete the snake bit that's in the scene. I'm going to put the snake bit in the snake bit slot. We don't have to do it in this order, but I just did. And we're going to, what I'm going to do before moving my position, because this happens on the same frame, you won't see any difference between it if you do it before or after. But we're going to do transform dot, wait, no. We're going to do, instantiate snake bit transform dot position is what I'm going to use because we haven't moved the character yet. That's the reason I'm doing it first. And then quaternion. Actually, no, we'll do transform.rotation. Transform.rotation, in case it matters later. Like if we added some art to this or something, and all of a sudden the snake has a front and a back, we want it to be facing the right way. So snake bit, transform position. So if we hit save and play, we have it moving out, and we have it leaving a little trail behind it. All right, so finally we want it to do some random movement. So what we will do is random dot range, and I'm going to do 0 to 4 actually, so we can do this in 3D just for fun. So we're going to do random range 0, 4, and this is not the whole statement. This just gives us a value, but I'm going to build the statement around it. So what we're going to do is turn. Actually, let's do 0 to 5. Turn direction. Actually, I'm lazy. We're just going to do 0 to 3 right now. You'll see why we're doing this in a second. Sorry that I'm not being very transparent about that. So turn direction equals random range 0 to 3. If turn direction equals 0, actually, else. We'll just do else in this case. Now, if turn direction equals, we'll do 1 is left. I should do an enum for this, but I didn't. Else if turn direction equals 2, and then we don't actually even need a case for the 0. So because it'll just not do either of these things. So what we'll do is if turn direction equals 1, we will do transform.rotate new vector 3 0 90 0. And then we will do the same thing here, except for it will be negative 90. And hopefully that will mean that our snake will randomly turn left and right. Oh, turn direction does not exist in the current context. That's because we need to declare it. It is a int turn direction. Save. And we're going to hit play. And There we go. The snake can cross over itself. We don't have any other logic, but it will randomly move and generate new cubes. So that was snake. I'm going to go ahead and organize this into a folder. We're going to call this O1 snake. And I'm just going to put all these in here, and we might as well just leave that flat. So, cool. Gonna save the scene, save the project, and thanks for watching. I'm going to go ahead and check this into source tree. Repository missing. I'm not going to check this into source tree on the show. It will be checked in very shortly after the show, though. So thank you very much for watching, and you guys have a great... Remember, if you have any questions, email me pushypixels@pushypixels.com.